Hello guys, and welcome to Life, Love, and Gardening. It is August and school has started, so I know it's been a while, but with school starting and parents going back to work and all those things, it's been kind of tough getting out here and taking some video for you guys, but I'm here showing you one of the prettier things in my garden because it is going into another season. Everything is starting to die off, and I'll show you some of that. This is also really pretty. This is a basil right here. I think this is the Greek basil, and it's really pretty. I tried to go ahead and pot this up, but I'm trying to pull it up, as you can see, and the roots are in to the soil already, so I'm just going to leave it alone and let it go. Show you a couple of things that I'm liking in the garden. I did start a okra plant here. I'm not sure if this is the baby Bubba or not. I'm not sure what okra this is, but I think it is the baby Bubba okra here. And so this doesn't get that tall. It doesn't get more than like 24 inches tall. Everything else that I had in here kind of died. The green beans died, so the onions, they died. I really just haven't had a lot of time or a big push to get out here like I should, just because it's so hot in zone 8B where I'm located. And so the temperature has been up into the teens, so it's been like 113, 100, and 15, and it's supposed to get to like maybe 120 next week is what they're calling for. And so the sun has been feeling like it's just kind of beating right down on me when I'm out here. So typically I come out with an umbrella, but that only leaves one other hand and I can't do a whole lot with that. Then on top of that, I hurt my hand, and so I couldn't even really pick up anything to do anything. So this has kind of left me in a little pickle. But to show you some things, this is the, I think, sun gold, and it's still kind of, putting on some fruit here and there, right here, but most of it is starting to kind of die back because it's getting so hot. My favorite tomato of this season has been the Podoric Fee. It is still the best looking tomato plant I have out here, and it still is putting on fruit here, and the fruit of the Podoric Fee is really good. It's really good, but it is the best looking tomato plant that I've had really all year. And the Super Sweet 100 was maybe the second. Now this right here, this was the goddess of the moon, and so it didn't take the heat very well, but I did get a lot of fruit off of the goddess of the moon. So here we go. I've eaten a lot of collard greens. This is my asparagus that's kind of ferning out, and I'll let it do this for the first year or two. So go, and so that's what it's doing. I did also eat a few asparagus, even though you're not really supposed to the first year or so, but I think this is actually like a 2-year crown or so. So I did take a couple of asparagus off of this plant. This is that Jerusalem artichoke that I showed you guys that was getting like just pummeled by the caterpillar. It had so many on there. Let me show you the stalks of them right here, so you can see. I think I put this in here. I wonder if I have a tag that shows me when I put this in here. No, that's beets. So I put these Jerusalem artichoke in here in April. Yeah, and I thought that I would be able to possibly let the beets start growing up before the Jerusalem artichoke kind of took over, but they came up so fast. It did not give my beets a chance to kind of like get started really well, and it just kind of smothered it out from the sun. And so I think these take about 130 days to harvest. And so what that means is it is August. So it's probably right around about 120 days. Let me do the math. So April, May, June, July, August. Yeah. About 120 days or so already. So they're probably getting close to harvesting. I was waiting on the flowers and stuff to kind of open up and come out. But I really haven't seen any just yet. I know these are part of the sunflower family, so that's what we're waiting on. So probably in the next 2 weeks or so, I'll be harvesting some of these Jerusalem artichokes. This is my Neapolitan pepper plant here. I've gotten a couple of peppers off of this, and as you can see, it still has like some flowers here that is about to be putting on, but it just gets so hot sometimes. Of course, just like tomatoes, sometimes when it gets too hot, then the flowers start to drop. And so, and I think this is this is ash pimento right here, and I did get maybe 5 ash pimento peppers off of this, and as you can see, there are some flowers still forming on this. So I'm going to leave those alone and let them just go. And what we have here, this is the super sweet 100 cherry, and this just a sucker here that's putting on flowers. And I might just clip them and pull up the plant and then plant these back down into the tote and see if I can get more fruit. But it definitely still has a lot of flowers kind of just all over this plant, and it is one of my better producers this summer here. And then my other asparagus bed is right here, and I think this is the stew pizza plant here. I maybe got 10 tomatoes off of this, and you see one is kind of drying out. It does not like the intense heat that we have here. So but if you can see, there are plenty of flowers on this, so maybe I will get like a fall harvest off of the stew pizza. And then there's a Paul Robeson somewhere in this pile. But all of these right here, they're pretty much finished. They have dried up, and I'm not even okay, I think these are the mortgage lifters, and I didn't get very many tomatoes off of that one at all. It does not like the intense dry heat that we have here. So there are a couple of little scraggly collards in there. This is my hibiscus. It's nutrient deficient right now, and it is overplanted. As you can see, the base of them, the stalks of them are like really big. I really should take them out and possibly plant them in the ground and see how they do. I'm not sure if they're going to be good for the fall or into the winter, but quite possibly. I mean, they have plenty of new growth on them. Plenty of new growth. I'm not sure if I really got this in the recording or not, but this is amaranth, and this plant was only about this tall, about maybe 2 inches tall, and I found it off over in the grass, and I was like, that looks like a plant and not just a weed. So I planted it in here, and if you can see, this is the base of it here. I planted it in here with a hirotaki or something. It died. A hirotaki or hinonaki, I think, gooseberry, and the gooseberry plant died. But I believe this is amaranth, and I think this is, I'm not sure if it's love lies bleeding. I have to go back and look, but it's pretty, and it's one of my favorite things right now. Is growing a lot better than most things in my garden, so it doesn't take a lot of work to grow, because like I said, it was growing out in my grass, and my grass doesn't look good. Behind here is a mulberry. This is a mulberry tree that I've had for maybe 4 or 5 years, and it was putting on fruit, and then we moved and I uprooted it, and then the big tree which its trunk was maybe about almost maybe 8 to 10 inches around or whatever. I'm not even sure if I'm using the right measurements for that, but it was really, really big. So let me give you an example. So you see this right here, this pot? The trunk of the mulberry tree was this wide, and this is about maybe 6 inches wide. So it was just as big as this right here. And during the move, it didn't make it because we had it in storage and it didn't make it. But before I pulled it up, I did cut off a lot of like little twigs. And so this was the original twig right here, this brown one, this tan one that I cut, and it didn't make it, but it had already put off the side shoots, which is these two right here, and it made it. So I'm so glad that I didn't lose that. Okay, this is a basil right here, and it smells like a Thai basil or like a cinnamon basil, and so that is doing okay. It's putting on, you know, a little flower, so I'll be able to possibly save some seeds. And this fig tree right here, I thought it was dead because in March, April, in the springtime, when everything else was blooming, my figs were not. Everything else was putting on leaves, my fig trees were not, so I just assumed that it didn't make it through the winter. Well, here it is, August, and just this month, this just sprouted. It's a fig tree, and this is the Peter's honey, and I thought it was dead because typically by now you would expect to have some leaves on your fig tree. And I mean, because it died, I just planted some sunflowers in here, and the sunflowers grew and they got big with heads probably about 4 to 6 inches, you know, wide. And the birds or something came and took the heads after the flower petals fell off, and I meant to get them, but by the time I came back out, some critter had already taken them, and I could see where the birds were pecking at it because there were sunflower seeds all over the ground in front of it. But I'm okay with it. I did get, you know, some that were scattered on the ground that they didn't get to, and so I saved those seeds. And then also, this is that sweet potato that I did a plant with me. And if you remember, I didn't have any good soil to plant it in. All I had was a little bit of manure and like topsoil. And I did think that it was going to be too heavy of a soil to plant them in. But I just decided to do it anyhow. I had the potatoes, they sprouted, and they were ready to be planted. And I didn't have anything, and I didn't plan to go get anything. You know, this is the best looking little piece here. I don't know what's up under there. It doesn't seem like it's really like hard. Like when I press in it, you know, you see it kind of, it moves good. I can dig in it good, but it's still, I think, a little bit too see, it's not like super hard. But I think it's too hot out here. It's not enough shade in this area, and I still think that it is a little bit too compacted for sweet potatoes. And my blueberry bush, of course, is crispy because we've been having like 110, like I said, up to 115 to 120 degrees supposed to be next week. So here it is really, really hot. But sometimes when you think your plants are dead, like this fig here, you just might want to still water it. I know we tend to just throw it away, but I have a more relaxed, you know, take on gardening. As you can see, I don't overdo myself. I don't stress myself out. And so that pumpkin, not pumpkin, that sweet potato and that poo came from this right here. And I was supposed to pull these out, and I never did. And I have a peach over here that's probably suffering from it being in here, overcrowding it. But I'm sure I will get some sweet potatoes. And this is another fig that I thought died in the winter time. But this actually came up in maybe around about April or so. which is why I thought the other fig was dead, because this one came up, but the other one did not. But I haven't really been fertilizing it or anything like that, so, you know, I'm not going to stress about it. I'm not going to stress about it, but I just kind of wanted to show you guys a little bit of what's going on here in the garden. But, you know, some things are dead because it's that time of the year to start pulling things up. And I will. I'm already going through some of my fall seeds and seeing what I'm going to plant. And so I know that planting tomatoes this late in the season is typically not done. However, in my area, it doesn't really get super cold. Even though they're saying that it's going to be a brutal winter this winter, I'm just going to plant them, and I'm going to pray for the best, hope for the best, pray for the best, and we will see what this winter brings, what this fall season and winter brings. And I'm thinking I still want to plant some tomatoes. I have some dwarf varieties and some kind of like short day kind of like varieties. So I have some that are like 50-day long, 45-day long, before it's to maturity after transplanting. And so I may still be able to get some in October. I'm not sure, but I'm going to try to keep this Poor Dorothy right here, because I just love it, and I love the flavor of it. It tastes so, so good. Podork-fee. I think it's P-O-R or P-O-D-O-R-K-F-E-I. And I really like it. It really stood up to the heat here. And it is still the only plant that is still putting out, you know, fruit. And I promise you, I didn't do much to it. I didn't really fertilize it or anything, but it's one of my favorite. I think I'm going to plant it every year. Every year. This is the mullein right here, and it's so soft. And they say back in the day, like the tribes, they would use this to, you know, as a form of tissue along with like lamb's ear, because it's just so soft. I think it's softer than tissue actually. All right, guys, I just kind of want to show you guys some of the things that's dying off and some of the things that are doing okay. I will be out here to do a cleanup and to plant some of my things for the fall. And so hopefully you guys will be seeing a lot more of me now that my hand is feeling better and it's starting to cool down. This is like my kind of weather now. Of course, it's about to storm out here, which, you know, I'm always out here when it's about to storm or when it's raining. Maybe I should be like the rainy gardener. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Bye.